It's FA Cup first round day today. That's right, the actual proper first round of the FA Cup. None of this qualifying nonsense. Hello and welcome to Season 2, Part 3 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we're at home against the mighty Russell in the FA Cup first round. Plus, we've got a Conference North game against Bradford Park Avenue. I don't know who Russell are. There you go. They're in the English Regional Premier Divisions. I guess that's one division below where we are. Russell Olympic. I'm not entirely certain I've heard of them. I probably have. But I guess that means they're probably going to beat us. Since you were last with me, everything's been going rather well. As you can see, apart from one blip against Altrincham in the league where we lost 3-1, but we put it right in the FA Cup fourth qualifying round against them a week later. It's been a long unbeaten run. There was a draw against FC United as well, and we were completely outplayed in that game. It was kind of a goal against the run of play that got us back into that. But it's all going well. The new system is working swimmingly. And as of right now, 16 games into the season, we are at the giddy heights of 9th in the Conference North. Only 2 points off the playoffs. But we're not talking about the playoffs. We're happy to be in the top half of the table. We're also very happy that we've got two of the joint top assist makers in the division, in Sam Madley and Jordan Wright. Joe Parker is third on average rating, and presumably he's fairly near the top of top goal scorers as well. There you go. He's fourth on the goal scoring charts. So we've got some very good attacking players, and it's working marvellously. Nathan Jarman still hasn't scored a goal for us, and he's got another long-term injury. Shin splints this time. If we'd have left him with our physio, it would have been another 5 to 6 months, and I'm fairly sure at that point his career would be done. We've sent him off to a specialist at a cost of £500, just because sentimental reasons more than anything. So he's only going to be out for another few weeks. He's been out for a month or so already. He's just not the same player, bless him. 11 appearances, 0 goals, an average rating of 6.63. That injury last year, it's finished him. We gave him a contract in the summer, just because, he was a hero last year with all those goals. The fans love him, we love him, but he's not getting another contract this summer. If he gets back to any kind of fitness again, we might see him play a few more games, but Madley and Parker running away with it as our top players. Why have I got all these youngsters on here? Joe Parker has picked up an injury as well. He's out for a couple of weeks with a twisted knee. So we've got Danny Elliott back in the side at the moment. We've still got Joey Johnson knocking around. Elliot Chamberlain is still around. Joe Ironside. These players are probably all ahead of Jarman in the pecking order. We've even got Japhet Mata on the bench today. You may remember him from the tail end of last season where he played the odd game here and there. We kind of want to have a little bit of a look at him. It's the FA Cup, isn't it? We have to have a little look. He's got a lot of potential, but he's not come close to fulfilling any of it yet. I don't know why it's showing me what he's like as a midfielder, because he's supposedly a striker. Hang on, can you play all over the place, young man? Well, he can even play left back. Well, that's interesting. We're not retraining him anywhere at the moment. Perhaps we need to be. Perhaps we need to be training him as a left midfielder as well, because we don't really have much strength in depth there. If something happened to Brogan, we don't really have much in the way of a backup. It would be Joe Guest coming in to play on that left-hand side of midfield. Equally, if we picked up an injury to Jordan Wright, it would be disaster time, because the only other player who can play there is Elliot Chamberlain, and he's not been any good for a season and a half that he's been at the club. I mean, he's not the answer to any question. But in the meantime, we'll just kind of hope everything goes okay with Jordan Wright. He doesn't get injured. Same with Brogan. We do have a slight problem with Wright in that he won't sign a part-time contract. He's still sat there on non-contract as a backup player. We probably should fix that, but I don't want to make him too big for his boots. I want to tie him down to a part-time deal, at least until the end of the season, so we don't get someone swoop in and take him off us, because he's been so important for us. But not a lot we can do when he's not playing ball. So this is the team that we're going to put out there today for the first round of the FA Cup against Russell. This is a golden opportunity to have a decent bit of a cup run and bring some much needed money into the club. The finances are in a bit of a pickle. As you can see, £40,000 overdrawn. The projection is terrifying. I mean, surely the club goes out of business here. It never gets to this point. So we could really do with navigating Rushall, hopefully getting another easy tie in the second round and getting a big club away in the third round and bringing in £500,000 or something. It would be very handy around about now. But ignoring all of that, let's focus on the team, focus on the performance. And if the club goes out of business, as long as we're playing well, I'll be all right. It don't matter about Gainsborough, I'll be all right. I'll get another job somewhere else. So we've got Willis in goal today, back four of Roberts, Masonda, Cook and Gurr. A midfield of Brogan, Witham and Wright with the other Wright. I never noticed they were both called Wright. So we've got Sam Wright in midfield, observant me. And then Jordan Wright playing behind. Elliott and Madeley up front. Joey Johnson is fit again. He was out for a little while injured after signing a new contract in the summer. And it would be quite nice to have Joey Johnson back in and around the squad again. I don't know if he still has a regular starting spot in the team. I guess with Parker being injured at the moment, there's a spot there for him because Danny Elliott, he's another one who he answered any question we might need to pose. So there's an obvious spot for Johnson to get into the team there. But at the moment, he's not close to match fit. He's only just back in training again. And Danny Elliott can hear me. And he's saying, hang about, boss. Do you remember I scored on the first day of the season? I've just scored again now. So I'm going to score 5 or 6 goals today against these this little amateur side. And then you're gonna pick me until Parker's fit again, and then probably forget I exist, because you know how these things work. But I mean, it's a lovely bit of control there. Takes it down on his left foot, tucks it across the face of the goal, and we're 1-0 up. That's rather splendid stuff. So, I mean, they're playing a very, very defensive system, aren't they? I guess they're scared of us. We're finally, it's only taken a year and a half, we're finally playing good football consistently and scoring some goals. So this is almost like the kind of tactics we used to come up against in Italy when we were with Milan. They've got the famous flat back six, and they've got an equaliser. This lot shouldn't be scoring goals against us. I'm not very happy about this. They get in behind us. I mean, we've got players doubled up there, our left back and presumably Brogan, but the cross comes in anyway, and Willis should have done better there. It feels a little bit like he's not really focusing on that. It's only Rushall. We won't worry about that. This lot have made it through to the first round of the FA Cup just like we have. We need to take him seriously. Joe Cook's taking him seriously, and that's his first ever goal for the club. Is his name Joe? It's definitely Cook. Is everyone called Joe? Everyone's either Joe or Wright in this team. Let's. Do we see his full name anywhere? I guess we'll see it in a minute. Yeah, Joe Cook. We've only got one Joe in the team at the moment, but Parker's called Joe as well, isn't he? I'm not making up the Joe situation that we've got. We're all Joes and Wrights. That could be a slogan that we could have on a flag or something. Right, Elliott finds Brogan. Brogan's very far forward here and just sort of runs nowhere. He got a bit of a nosebleed that he'd got too far forward, tucked it back to Roberts. Roberts puts it across to Sam Madeley. It's probably Madeley, isn't it? Like Richard Madeley. Is he Richard Madeley's son or something? That would be brilliant if he is. I'll probably keep slipping back into calling him Madeley because to me that's how it should be pronounced. But I guess that fella off the telly will tell you different. And now we're 3-1 up with less than half an hour on the clock. And hopefully that little early scare of them getting an equaliser is behind us now. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Brogan and Roberts do double up that time and actually make the interception. Wright finds Madeley and finds the other Wright. Gurr is there. That's a nice cross, but there's no one there to get on the end of it. Roberts is going to try again, though. In fact, he doesn't. It makes its way out to Jordan Wright eventually, and now Elliott's there. Was he offside? It felt a little bit offside, but it's been given, and we're 4-1 up with less than half an hour on the clock now, and this was a lovely bit of football. Look, this is the kind of passing and movement and just nice football that we're capable of now. Madeley and Elliott were queuing up to tuck that one away. I'm quite surprised it made it as far as Elliott, because if I'd have been Madeley, I'd have stuck my toe in the end of that. But we already know he's more of a creator than a lethal finisher. Although 6 goals already, where are we? It's November, 6 goals by November. That's not too bad for a player in his first season at a new club, is it? Especially with all the assists he's making as well. And I think George Willis has just redeemed himself for that bit of a mistake for the goal, because that looked like a super save. It was looping into the top corner and he somehow tipped it out of the corner of the goal, out for a corner, and then collected in the subsequent cross as well. And I think we're going to go in at half-time 4-1 up, which we couldn't really ask for much more than this, could we? Fingers crossed this is going to lead to Well, actually, no, we don't want a juicy tie yet. There aren't any. I mean, as juicy as it gets is League One. That's not juicy enough for us. There could be some ties that would interest me. I'd love a game against Posh. That'd be brilliant. But I wouldn't love it as much as I'd love Man United or someone like that away in the third round and all the money that would be attached to that, even if we do get a sound pasting, which obviously we would. But Russell have decided... Oh, you're talking about the third round already? I think it's the first round, and the game's still going. So reel it in, and if you keep talking about it, we're just going to keep doing stuff like this. And there's no fault with Willis for that one. That's just a nice finish, although it does make it past 5 Gainsborough players on its way to the goal. And it would have been nice for maybe just one of them to close down their player and... not let him have the shot. But then, I suppose, on the flip side of that, this is Russell Olympic. We're probably quite happy letting them shoot from there all day long, because 9 times out of 10, they're not making it anywhere near the goal. Right, we're going to bring on Kelvin Douglas and give him a go playing as a ball-winning midfielder. He's another one who was one of the better players last year, but has been out injured for quite a little while. Now back to something close to fitness again. He's still not fully match fit, but... unfortunately for him, he's more of an attacking central midfield player, and that kind of role doesn't exist in our new look side. So this is exactly the kind of game where we want to try him out and see if he's capable of adapting to life as a ball-winning midfielder. And equally, let's get Joey Johnson on as well. Try and get some game time back into him. It was very handy to get a goal into him, get him up and running for the season. If it had been anyone other than Johnson on the bench, we'd have probably had another look at Mata, but I'm more interested in getting Joey Johnson back to the form he was in for parts of last season. Remember, he scored 22 goals for us last year, I think. So if we can get him back to somewhere like what he was before, even without Jarman, him alongside Parker and Madeley, something, we'll just call him Sam, would be rather pleasant. But there you go, we've won 4-2. And we are into the hat for the second round of the FA Cup. Our name's on the trophy this year, presumably. Right, we've got Macclesfield away in the second round in about a month's time. This is doable, kids. Look at this. Look at it. 14th in the Vanarama National League. We could have a third round tie. I guess that probably has to be the next episode now, doesn't it? Macclesfield and Fylde, presumably. Ooh, I mean, it would be nice, because we've got a new trialee. Is that trialee? Are we allowing trialee, a new player on trial, who we'd very much like to sign? If I can press any of the right buttons to show you him. Player trials. Jay Wilson. He can play right wing, left wing, so he would be cover for both Wright and Brogan. But apparently... he's already better than Jordan Wright as a right winger, and a perfectly adequate solution as a backup left midfielder. So look, there's Jaffet Meta saying we should train him there. We should probably train him there. But he was released by Middlesbrough in the summer. He's currently without a club. Potential to be a League 2 player in future, so exactly the kind of player we want to be signing. But we don't have the money to hang about. When I tried this a minute ago, we didn't have the money. Now all of a sudden he's in on trial. We can only blooming afford him. Let's try it. I mean, it was limiting me to £70 for him before. This is unheard of. I don't really know why he's renegotiating again so soon. But, I mean, I know we're over our wage budget already, but he's a potential player who could help us with a promotion push. No, don't say the P word. No promotion, no playoffs. They're both banned until April. Not April on here. No. Figure it out. Well, there you go, then we might be signing him. That's rather handy, but still, that's only going to make our finances even worse. So we could really, really do with beating Macclesfield and getting a big club in the next round of the FA Cup. Back down to earth in the league, though. We're playing against Bradford Park Avenue today. They're down in the relegation zone. I think, in fact, they are rock bottom of the league. There they are. They're only 7 points all season. So fingers crossed, this should be another comfortable win. We've got no changes to make. None of the injured players are back fit again. We've not picked any more injury concerns up. Although Sam Wright had a little bit of a mini knock in midweek, but it was nothing serious enough to keep him out of the game today. And with Matt Sparrow in sort of free fall deterioration mode, we kind of don't have much in the way of central midfield backup options at the moment. We probably need to be looking to move Matt Sparrow on, although he's retiring at the end of the season, and I'd kind of like to get him involved in our coaching structure, because I know last season was a poor season, but he was one of the few bright lights in a fairly miserable season overall. So it'd be quite nice to have a Gainsborough man as part of our coaching setup. So perhaps we can't just bin him off. We need to maybe send him on a coaching course and try and convert him into a coach before the end of the season, get him to hang up his boots and maybe take a pay cut to do it. We've just gone 1-0 up through Jordan Wright, and that puts us up to 7th, I think, down here in the Conference North. You have to be top 5, don't you, for playoffs? It's only 1 automatic promotion spot and then the 4 playoff positions. I mean, that's a lovely finish from Jordan Wright. I mean, this lad is not, traditionally, not a goal scorer. If we have a look at his record, he's still only 23 years old. He's spent his entire career at Curzon Ashton, and before this season had only scored 14 goals in, 130 games? That's his 8th goal in 17 games for us. He's scoring at a goal a game. A goal every other game, which is unheard of for him. I guess it's probably the first time in his career he's being played as a proper out-and-out winger rather than on the right-hand side of midfield. And, does it make a difference for him? I mean, I don't understand why he's still at the club. I fully expect someone to come in and swoop for him. Do they have transfer windows in the Conference National? That might be a reason why no one's taken him yet. It really would be nice to tie him down to a contract before January rolls around, just in case. But if I was a Conference National club, keeping an eye on what was going on down here in the Conference North, he's got to be a player on everybody's radar, surely, especially as he's not on a contract. So anyone can just come in and take him. There's no fee. He won't want much money. He just wants apparently he doesn't want a contract because he won't take one from me. He's just using us to advertise himself, which, he's doing an excellent job. It's no bad thing. We want him to keep doing it for as long as possible, but it would be nice to tie him down. So if someone did come in for him, we could get £75 for him maybe. Sam Madeley's just got his 7th goal of the season. We're 2-0 up. Bradford have gone to a very odd... I mean, it's not that odd. It's a 5-3-2, but they look so defensive. I know we've used them from time to time. I use it for a little bit in my Everton save, but it does look so defensive when you don't have the attacking player in there. It's basically 9 men behind the ball, and I don't know why we ever tried it. It's not my cup of tea at all. Blame my assistant manager at the time. Right, Danny Elliott's not having a good game. We're going to bring on Joey Johnson, who can't play as defensive forward, but Madeley can, and Johnson can push up front and get 20 minutes into him today. Sam Wright also needs to come off, so we'll give Douglas another go as a ball-winning midfielder because he's too good not to be in the squad at all. And we need him to get used to playing in this position because for as long as we keep playing as well as we are, I don't see any reason why we'd switch that midfield up. And Kelvin Douglas has just said, you know what, I can probably do this ball-winning midfielder like, and plus I'll go forward and do this from time to time if that sits well with you, governor. And look, I mean, he's in so much space, and that is a thing of beauty. We're in the Conference North, and he's just scored an absolute belter like that. We're 3-0 up. That puts us up to 6th place now, just 1 point away from nothing. We're not mentioning it. Right, let's bring Jake Picton on for Witham. I mean, he's on a yellow card, not playing well, and he's tired. Do you need 4th reason? I mean, Picton can play there. We're 3-0 up. It doesn't matter if he's not as good. Look how far ahead Boston are. There's no catching them, is there? Not that we're catching anyone. We're not. We're just playing our game, match to match. We're not looking at the league table until April. We agreed that. I might take it off the screen, make it a surprise for you all at the end of the season. But no, next time you see me, we'll be top of the league. We'll be nothing of the sort. Oh, the conflict. Goodness me. Oh, we're playing Boston next. Oh, hang about. Hold the phone. We're playing Boston. And they're top of the league, and we're in good form. We're going to have to show you that, aren't we? The next episode might be a weird one where we play Boston, have a bit of a gap, then play Macclesfield, because they're the 2 interesting games coming up. It's unheard of. There'll be matches between the 2 live comms, but I don't see any other choice. I think that's probably what we're going to have to do. And if you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.